From ancient cave paintings to towering skyscrapers of glass and steel, beauty has captivated humanity across every age, culture, and society. We see it in sunsets and symphonies, in symmetry and design, in faces that turn our heads, and in landscapes that take our breath away. But what if I told you that beauty is not just a preference, not just some cultural invention that shifts with time and taste? What if beauty itself is a primal drive, hardwired into our very DNA, a universal instinct that speaks to something far deeper than personal opinion? The quest for beauty isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental human need. When people say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, it suggests that beauty is entirely subjective, that one person's masterpiece is another person's mess. And while it's true that culture shapes our tastes and individual experience colors our perception, the story doesn't end there. Scientists have discovered patterns, common threads woven across time and geography, suggesting that beneath personal preference lies a universal language of beauty. This language is rooted in evolutionary biology and neuroscience. It is ancient, powerful, and has shaped who we are as humans. Think about symmetry. Across cultures, people consistently rate symmetrical faces as more attractive. Why? Because symmetry is often an unconscious signal of genetic health. A symmetrical face suggests developmental stability and resilience against disease or environmental stress. Our ancestors, without knowing the science, were drawn to symmetry because it increased the odds of survival for their offspring. What began as an evolutionary advantage is carried forward, and even today, models, actors, and public figures with symmetrical features are often deemed conventionally attractive. But beauty is not limited to faces. Look at nature. The spiral of a seashell, the fractal branching of a tree, the golden ratio found in flowers, galaxies, and even our own bodies. These mathematical patterns appear repeatedly, and humans find them pleasing across cultures and generations. Why? Because our brains evolved to detect order and harmony. Recognizing patterns in nature was essential to survival, identifying ripe fruit, safe shelter, or fertile landscapes. Over time, our brains began to associate these patterns with safety and reward, wiring us to feel pleasure when we perceive them. Beauty, in this sense, is an evolutionary compass guiding us toward life-supporting environments. Neuroscience reveals even more. When we encounter something beautiful, whether a painting, a song, or a person, our brains light up in specific ways. The orbitofrontal cortex, responsible for processing reward and pleasure, becomes active. Dopamine is released, the same neurotransmitter that fuels motivation and reinforces behavior. Beauty quite literally feels rewarding because our brains treat it as something vital. This explains why people travel thousands of miles to see a natural wonder, spend years creating art, or devote lifetimes to perfecting music and design. Beauty doesn't just entertain us, it nourishes us, engaging the deepest circuits of our minds. Art and culture magnify this instinct. From the cave paintings of Lascaux to the marble perfection of Michelangelo's David, humans have always created representations of beauty. These were not mere decorations. They were stories, symbols, and sacred objects that bound communities together, teaching values, inspiring awe, and reinforcing shared identity. Aesthetic expression was as essential to survival as food and shelter because it connected individuals to something larger than themselves. Beauty fostered cooperation, inspired resilience, and gave meaning to existence. Architecture is another fascinating example. Across vastly different cultures, certain design elements appear again and again. Courtyards, flowing water, balanced proportions, and natural light appear in ancient Roman villas, Islamic palaces, Japanese gardens, and modern homes alike. These shared elements are not coincidence. They reflect an instinct for spaces that mirror natural environments, places that balance complexity with order, stimulation with calm. Our brains evolved in landscapes of water, trees, and open vistas, and so when we encounter these qualities in built environments, we feel at home. We call it beautiful because it resonates with our evolutionary memory. And then there's music. Why do melodies stir our souls? Why do rhythms move our bodies before our minds even comprehend the sound? Scientists believe music taps into the brain's prediction circuits. Our auditory system loves patterns, and when a rhythm or melody both confirms and surprises our expectations, it generates pleasure. Music is beauty in motion, an auditory dance between anticipation and resolution. Its universality, found in every culture, suggests that it too is woven into our biology, a shared inheritance of our species. Of course, beauty is not just about survival. It also speaks to identity, connection, and transcendence. We're drawn to beauty because it helps us imagine possibilities beyond the ordinary. A stunning painting can expand our sense of time. A piece of music can transport us to memory or dream. A graceful dance can awaken empathy and emotion. In this sense, beauty is not just about what pleases the senses. It is about what elevates the spirit, expanding consciousness and binding us to one another. But there's also a paradox. If beauty is universal, why do standards of beauty shift? Why does one era adore fuller figures while another prizes thinness? Why does one culture value pale skin while another treasures darker tones? The answer lies in the tension between biology and culture. Our biological instincts set the foundation: symmetry, pattern, harmony, vitality. Culture then layers on meaning, shaping how those instincts are expressed. What is considered fashionable or attractive changes with economics, history, and social values. But beneath it all, the primal instincts remain. A face still needs balance, music still needs rhythm, design still needs proportion. Culture paints the details, but biology draws the outline. The drive for beauty can also have darker sides. Advertisers and industries exploit our biological instincts, flooding us with manipulated images that trigger our reward systems while distorting our sense of reality. Social media amplifies this effect, constantly feeding us filtered faces and curated lives. Our instinct for beauty, once a tool for survival and meaning, can become a source of anxiety, comparison, and dissatisfaction when hijacked by artificial standards. Recognizing the biology behind beauty helps us resist this manipulation, reminding us that true beauty is not a commodity, but a shared human instinct. Ultimately, the instinct for beauty reveals something profound about what it means to be human. We are not content with survival alone. We seek harmony, pattern, and meaning in everything we do. Beauty gives us joy, inspires creation, and connects us to one another across time and culture. It is not a frivolous luxury, but a biological necessity, a thread woven into the fabric of our existence. The next time you stop to admire a sunset, lose yourself in a symphony, or feel awe in front of a painting, remember this: you're not just enjoying a fleeting moment. You're tapping into one of the deepest instincts of humanity, a drive encoded in your brain and shaped by millions of years of evolution. Beauty isn't just in the eye of the beholder. It's in our biology, our history, and our very essence. And maybe that's the most beautiful truth of all.
If you find this video informative, please hit the like button, subscribe this channel, and feel free to share your comments.